Hey guys, I wanted to make a video about episode 4 of The Mandalorian, my thoughts and my theories. So, I really enjoyed this episode. It had a lot of Western vibes, which George Lucas has said in interviews that he has taken Star Wars. He was inspired by different kinds of genres and Westerns as one of them. And this theme of a Western is definitely in this episode. The outlaw, the man on the run, saving a village is definitely a Western theme. And this episode also reminded me of the Clone Wars episode where Obi-Wan and Anakin save villagers. So it reminded me of that as well. One of the things that I found interesting in this episode was the female character who was once a rebel. She was part of the rebellion. I found it interesting how after the rebellion was over, that she kind of was like, she didn't want to be a part of the New Republic. And she talks about how it was keeping peace, keeping people from rioting, and it got very political. And that again tied into the book Bloodline about the New Republic being with all the politics and the corruption. And it made a lot of sense because there were characters who joined the rebellion. A lot of people, different types of people and different types of characters joined the rebellion because they didn't want to be enslaved by the Empire. So it was everyone. And so I thought it was interesting when she says, it wasn't what I signed up for, when it was just being a peacekeeper and being part of getting involved in politics and all that after the rebellion had won, because everyone was united because they were just fighting the Empire because they didn't want to be enslaved by the Empire. So I thought that was very interesting. I wonder what clan or tribe he's a part of, because he talks about how you can't take off your helmet in front of other people. And in Rebels and Clone Wars, all the other tribes and clans took off their helmets in front of people all the time. Like you saw it with Sabine taking off her helmet in front of people all the time with Bo-Katan. So I'm very curious to know, like, what tribe or clan, what Mandalorian group is he a part of, because I haven't heard that before or seen that before with Mandalorians. I have a theory that somebody or a couple of characters from Rebels is going to show up at the end of this show, that somebody is going to show up, because he obviously is going to have to leave Baby Yoda with people or a Force-sensitive user who can protect the child, who can protect Baby Yoda. Or he's going to go with those group of characters or that character that can protect Baby Yoda, because that's the only way Baby Yoda can truly be safe. Baby Yoda couldn't be left on that planet. At first I was like, don't tell me he's about to leave Baby Yoda here. And my brother said to me, no, that's too easy for him to just leave Baby Yoda on this planet. I think either Sabine or Ahsoka or both are going to show up at the end of the show. Somebody's going to show up. And with Ahsoka, they could just CGI her and have Ashley Eckstein voice her. And my brother brought up this really great point too. Because they're Mandalorians, they don't have to take off their helmets. So you could have Sabine show up and not even take off her helmet, and you could have the original voice actress for her voice Sabine. And I have wondered before if Ahsoka was going to show up in episode 9. I just wasn't sure, are they going to have time to show her? But even if it was just a cameo of her in episode 9, because there has been so many storylines that have tied into her, and she is alive. We know she lives after Rebels. And introducing her to the Mandalorian show would be a great way for people who don't know who she is, who haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, can be introduced to her by Mandalorian and see her live action on screen first before seeing her or seeing a cameo of her in episode 9. And it would make a lot of sense that Ahsoka would be hiding the Force sensitive kids. So I think this Mandalorian character is going to be a part of the group that hides the Force sensitive children. And this, because basically the show is about a Mandalorian protecting a Force sensitive child. That's not how they advertised it. They kept that a secret, but it's basically what it's about. That's not how it appeared, but that's basically what it's about. It's about a Mandalorian protecting a Force sensitive child. And this theme keeps getting repeated over and over, protecting the Force sensitive children. I talked about it. There's an episode called Future of the Force and Rebels about them protecting the Force sensitive kids from the Inquisitors. And in Children of the Force, which is an episode in Clone Wars, Ahsoka and Anakin and the Jedi characters have to save these Force sensitive kids. And Palpatine wanted test subjects. And we saw Baby Yoda being tested on in The Mandalorian. So it's all tying together. This theme keeps getting repeated. And in the Clone Wars episode at Children of the Force, they talked about how they had a record of all the families that have had Force sensitives in the bloodline in the family tree. So the Jedi had the names of the Force sensitives. And Palpatine, because he was a part of the Republic, pretended to be part of the Republic. It was all his master plan. He had the record of the Force sensitives too. And I've just gotten the Jedi Fallen Order video game for my birthday. I absolutely love it so far. It's amazing. It's like a movie, and I'm going to do a video about it once I beat it. Hopefully I can beat it before the new movie comes out. But they talk about, and this is kind of a spoiler, they talk about how they're looking for Force sensitive kids in this video game. So this theme just keeps getting repeated. And this game has come out this month, right before the new movie. Mandalorian has come out right before the new movie. So just also the timing is perfect. So it's gotta mean something. It's gotta tie into something in episode 9. And if they had all the names and they got the names of who the Force sensitives were, easily could have hidden Rey, and that's why Rey's not her real name. And what I'm getting out of this is that all these different groups want these Force sensitive kids, and maybe that's why Luke only took 20 students, or however it was. It was a small number. Maybe it was a dozen. I can't remember, but it was a small number. And maybe the other characters, like Ahsoka and them, wanted to keep the Force sensitive kids hidden and safe. And there was an interview with the actor who plays Poe and the actor who plays the Mandalorian in this show together. It was like one of those Googling questions interviews. I didn't watch it because I always feel like it's like they make those actors Google the most ridiculous things. So I didn't watch it, but I saw the thumbnail and I was like, they're having the Mandalorian actor in the same interview with the actor who plays Poe, who's in the main movies right before episode 9 is about to come out. And they didn't have the actors from Rogue One be in an interview with the actors from the film series, or they didn't have the actors from the Han Solo movie be in an interview with any of the cast members of the main series. So I think the Mandalorian is going to be in episode 9, even if he just has a cameo or he shows up at the end. I think he's going to be a part of the group of people who help hide the Force sensitive kids. And like I've said, if Rey is a Mandalorian because of Obi-Wan having the love affair with Satine, because Satine was the Mandalorian queen, he'd have a connection to Rey, the Mandalorian connection. So he could easily be in it. I mean, honestly, I think he will be in it because this is coming right out before episode 9. And he could have a cameo. he could even if he just shows up at the end and the actor doesn't even have to take his helmet off. So you don't even have to worry about aging him up because he can just leave his helmet on. Maybe he helped hide Rey. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. There was so much Baby Yoda cuteness in this episode. There's been Baby Yoda cuteness in all the episodes, but this one especially. I love the part where Baby Yoda was pressing a button and then the Mandalorian was pressing the button and then Baby Yoda pressed the button again and then the Mandalorian said stop touching buttons, like stop pressing things. And then Baby Yoda like looks at him and slowly raises his finger and presses the button on purpose, like what a kid would do. I thought that was so hilarious. I also thought it was hilarious when he says to Baby Yoda that he's going to go find lodging, and he says to Baby Yoda, stay, you need to stay here. And he says, stay, and then he walks out the door, and then like 10 seconds later, Baby Yoda is like right next to him, and he's like, oh, fine, what the hell, come on. I thought that was so funny. I was literally laughing, and I love the part when the Mandalorian was fighting the former Rebel character, and Baby Yoda is just sitting there with his soup, and the Mandalorian says, do you want some soup? There were so many adorable Baby Yoda moments in this, especially when he was playing with the kids, and he had like the frog legs in his mouth, and the kids were like, ew. And when Baby Yoda was being hugged, when the kids were sad that they had to say goodbye to Baby Yoda. I would be sad too if I had to say goodbye to Baby Yoda. I want to adopt Baby Yoda. I want a Baby Yoda. I've really have been enjoying this show. I've been loving this show. One, I love it because it's been tying everything in. It's been connecting everything in, and that makes me happy. I want everything to be tied in. And two, I love that it feels like a Star Wars story. It has everything that you love about Star Wars in it. It has the action. It has that epic feeling. It has the cuteness because Star Wars does. It's got to have cute little creatures, and it has to have humor and epic storytelling and heart, and that's an action, and that's what this show has. It feels like a Star Wars story. I definitely think this is the best live action thing they've done with Star Wars besides the main film series. It has the Star Wars look. I've talked about it before in my other videos, but it looks like Star Wars with the puppets, and it has the older kind of feel. They make it look old, like how Star Wars is supposed to look. So I have been absolutely loving this show. I get excited every time an episode comes on to watch it. Obviously, Baby Yoda is one of my favorite things about the show, one of my absolute favorite parts of the show. And I loved in this most recent episode when the Mandalorian went to lay down that Baby Yoda watched him and then copied him and just like plopped down and was looking at the stars. That was the cutest thing, and I thought that was so funny. So overall, I thought this was a fun episode. There were sad parts, like with the Mandalorian and the woman who lived in the village, and I'm a sap for happy endings. I want happy endings, but maybe she'll show back up. And it kind of had some Ewok vibes. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that old Ewok movie or miniseries or whatever it was from the 80s. And I actually watched the show before my brother, and I caught him up, and he said that it reminded him of Lone Wolf and Cub. I didn't even know what that was until he told me that it was a samurai movie from the 70s. And then when he told me what it was about, I was like, oh yeah, I totally see it. But I love seeing it's just hilarious and awesome to see a Mandalorian with a Baby Yoda, and my brother calls him Mandalorian Yoda. Mandalorian Baby Yoda. And I've loved all the awesome Baby Yoda memes that have come out from this. But if you guys enjoyed my video, please give it a thumbs up, please like it, and please subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!